Okay, everyone, this is a cool episode. You may have seen on YouTube, I did a deep dive of the Betashares Direct platform. That episode didn't go up as a podcast. It went up as a YouTube dedicated episode. But this episode, it is part 2 to that deep dive that I did on Betashares Direct. And it is going up on the podcast as well as YouTube. So if you're a podcast listener, I would really encourage you, in the show notes on Apple or Spotify, you'll see a link to the part 1 of YouTube. And how all this came about was, how did it come about? Either way, I'm joined by Matt Fish, who is the head of product at Betashares Direct. So welcome, Matt. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Glen. Great to be here.
And how it came about, I wanted to do a review on this platform because I'd reviewed other platforms. And I reached out to Betashares and said, hey, can you guys set me up a demo account? And I'm so happy you did, because I've got I've got this Raise account with $50 in it that I set up to test myself. And I'm like, it's just annoying because then that $50 is now part of my own tax return. Anyway, so I'm not reviewing accounts anymore unless the companies can actually set me up a demo account. So if you're a product out there and you're listening, there's that. So you guys set me up an account.
Yep.
It's a live account. You funded it with $500. I dicked around in there, did a full review. The review on YouTube, it was literally the first time I'd used it. And then following that, it helped me have a lot of questions that I wanted to put to you. Yep. And that's what we're doing today. So for those who are just listening to the podcast, we might just start high level and then we'll get into the questions. I'll also say that Betashares has not paid me to come on to do the review or this episode. I have invited them, so there's been no money exchanged. However, I always reserve the right to take money off anyone because I'm running a business. But in this case, it's an invite only and it's not sponsored and all that stuff. So, Matt, are you ready to do a podcast?
I am ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it right now. You're listening to Money, 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 or as the regulars like to call us, M3. Everything discussed on the podcast is general advice only, which I'm licensed to give, and details can be found in the show notes. My name's Glen James, former financial advisor, now podcaster. I host this show and a show called Retire Right. I've also got a book called The Quick Start Guide to Investing, which you can check out wherever good books are sold, or there's a link in the show notes. Otherwise, thanks so much for listening today. Now on with the show. Okay, Matt, before we get into my questions, what's Betashares Direct? Why should anyone use it? Why should we care?
I'm happy to start here, Glen. Thank you. Betashares Direct is a new investing platform designed to help Australians with long-term investing. So to take one step backwards, a lot of you and a lot of your viewers might know Betashares as a business.
Yeah.
We're an asset manager with over 100 funds across Australia and New Zealand. Just today, I believe we crossed 55 billion in assets under management.
Wow.
And service.
And we're recording at the end of July, everyone.
Yeah, and we service over 1 million clients. A part of Betashares' mission is to help all Australians financially progress, and one of the ways we wanted to evolve the business to deliver that mission is to get closer to the customer and to help them make better investing decisions, construct really great portfolios with the building blocks, which can include ETFs, and so Betashares Direct was born, and we built the platform with a view to just help people become better investors, introduce new technology to really innovate in the space, and to provide a low-cost solution as well to maximise performance.
Mm.
So what Betashares Direct offers is, first and foremost, zero brokerage access to all Australian ETFs traded on the ASX. And that's really important because we didn't just want to offer Betashares ETFs, Betashares Direct. You can access any ETF. So we're an open architecture platform.
Okay, so just on that, and tell me to shut up and let you finish your spiel if you want. there are some micro investing platforms that might not allow gold, for example, because of the nature of the structured type product. Are there any carve outs on Betashares Direct?
No, any ETF quoted in the ASX is available. And there might, and I believe most of the ETFs on the SIBO as well.
Yeah, okay.
Is available as well.
Yeah.
So no, there's no carve outs. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
In addition to ETFs, we also offer, I think it's now around 350 of the top Australian companies, so ASX shares as well, with zero brokerage access. So ETFs have proven to be, really good building blocks to help people build wealth. And so to complement access to these products, we've also built some features like Auto Invest, which helps you automate investing into Betashares ETFs with zero brokerage as well. One of the things that's a little bit different to other platforms or other brokers is we also offer managed portfolios and custom portfolios. So we'll get into that today. And managed portfolios are curated portfolios built by Betashares experts with a range of diversified options and also a range of focused thematic portfolios. And these are really great products for those who maybe don't have time to pick what ETFs and shares to invest in and want a fully automated experience, including automated investing, things like rebalancing, reinvesting income. Just a nice, set and forget long-term investing product.
Yeah.
So those are managed portfolios, and what we try to do at Betashares is, provide a guided experience there. And with custom portfolios, this is where you as the customer can actually take more control with that portfolio. So you have a particular strategy you have in mind you want to implement, or there's certain ETFs and shares you want to actually choose yourself. You can construct a portfolio with those securities, choose your own rebalancing options, own reinvesting options, and you have full control.
And I will just say, this episode, as you kind of touched on, we're not getting into the weeds of the actual portfolio and the managed portfolios that Betashares provide. I mean, if you want to send someone up, knock yourselves out, and we can do that another time. But it is more on the structure of the actual platform itself. Yeah, sweet. Okay, so Betashares fund manager, they thought, well, we've got all this access to these cool portfolios. Why don't we try and make a brokerage account, quote unquote, or a platform, quote unquote, whatever, for our existing customers, or potentially try and carve a space in the market for new customers?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, for us, it's all about helping all Australians financially progress. And, we really thought there was a real opportunity to innovate in the space of providing a brokerage solution or investing, direct-to-consumer investing solution. So this is a product we've built for self-directed investors. It's new technology, it's low cost, and we just wanted to provide a better experience and one that's designed for long-term investing to turn down the noise of day-to-day volatility.
Yeah. What are you most proud of with the product?
I'm most proud of, the customers using it and enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
Betashares Direct is really just about helping people build wealth so they can focus on the rest of their life, right? So, important things like family, keeping up with friends, work. And so I'm just proud that the product is helping people make good decisions. And there's a lot of content on the platform to help you make good decisions.
Yeah.
But just making the experience of investing, as simple in the sense that it's can be daunting to make the right calls, and it can be sometimes hard to implement good habits. But through design of Betashares Direct and through the technology we've built, we've just to the best of our ability automated really good habits and really good discipline with investing.
Yeah. And look, we do have a lot of questions, and we'll take as long as we can before you need to jump on a plane. But one of my first questions, and because there'll be a lot of questions that come up, and I thank you for your grace that, I've only provided you with some questions, and tell me to go away if you need to have that on notice or whatever. But how are you, because it's tech, and as tech evolves over time. There needs to be changes, adjustments, because it's like, oh, this is what we think when we design it. We put it out in the field and then it's like, oh, this crap's doing that, or users want. Do you have a pool of like 20 real world users that are in some type of focus feedback group for your developers and your team?
Yeah. So one of the the better ways to build products is to put something in front of the customer and get their feedback. And so there's a few ways we do this. I would say we have what I call 2 product roadmaps when building Betashares Direct. So roadmap number 1 would be we go speak to customers and we ask them, how are you finding the experience of Betashares Direct? How can we make it better? And we get a lot of great, data points from that conversation. And then we would build features based on that feedback. As a very typical sort of way to build products.
Yeah. But though, when you say you approach customers, is it random email to all users, hey, give us feedback, or do you have a dedicated group? And the reason I just asked this because as things grow, like you've got to sift out the signal from the noise. Like if people just whinging and it's like, no, it's actually not relevant. Like versus, okay, there's a trend here. Like we were talking before we hit record about tech, and I've got this new Rodecaster video device, and I would think I'm an advanced user of their device and it's new, it's the first iteration. I messaged Rode on Instagram. I'm like, do you guys have type of feedback focus group that I can be part of with the developers or the tech, just because I think I'm using it to the absolute max. If you need me, like I'm happy because I want it to be better as a user. Yeah. And basically it was just some BS back then, like, okay, forget it. Like, so that's why I just asked, because it's really important to have those feedback loops and hone out the signal and get rid of the noise.
Exactly right. So, we do have a group of customers who have opted in to help us make the product better. We call it a research panel.
Yeah, cool.
And we are always, speaking to customers, and we, recruit them to this panel if they wanted to be, a part of the actual, product building experience. But your point is absolutely right. So if you just build product to the noise, how do you innovate? And this brings me to roadmap number 2. And this is what we call our omakase roadmap. Yep. And omakase, I'm not sure if you've, gone out for dinner at a nice Japanese restaurant.
I'm uncultured swine over here.
Oh, no, well,
I'm in a shed in Bennett's Green, remember.
I rarely get out for dinner these days myself with 3 young kids. But omakase is this, really fun way of dining where you go into a Japanese restaurant and the chef cooks for you versus you look at a menu and choose from a menu. And so the omakase roadmap is about we're product builders, we really understand the customer, we understand the technology, and also Betashares really understand wealth and investing. Let's not listen to the customer. Let's build something that we think would really help them build wealth. And it's something a customer or the market has never seen before.
But that was Steve Jobs with the iPhone vibe. Remember his quotes?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, yeah.
I'm butchering a paraphrase. Like, no, they don't know what they want. This is what they need.
Something like that. And that's how you innovate, right?
Yes.
And so that roadmap becomes, it's a big part of our process. So, we go through a series of, ideation and then, building and experimenting and iteration. And then eventually you put it in front of the customer and, we'll see if the customer likes it. And a lot of what you see and experience in Betashares Direct comes from that omakase principle.
Awesome.
And so, we've got a really exciting omakase roadmap ahead.
Is that public? Are your roadmap public?
No, not public, yeah. We don't want to spoil the surprise, so to speak. But
I like when you talk dirty and sexy to me. Quickly, it was an interesting thing that you said, because if you're making a product to entertain the noise, it would have to be chest sponsored.
That's right. Yeah.
And, we won't go down that rabbit hole, but just talk to us to the rationale around Betashares, how it's a custody arrangement and why that isn't the end of the world.
Absolutely. So When we were building Betashares Direct, we had to make a decision. Do we build a CHESS-sponsored brokerage platform or do we build something that's new in a wealth platform, which is custodian? We felt that if we truly wanted to innovate in this space and if we wanted to help investors build long-term wealth and offer more than just ETFs and shares that are listed on the ASX, the best thing for the customer would be to build a platform. And in doing that, it allows you to innovate. We, with Betashares Direct, we offer a fractional investing experience. And so that's something you can't do that's CHESS sponsored.
Yeah.
And it also allows you to, pass on lower costs to the investor as well. And ultimately, it just offers a better experience. Now, there are a lot of Australians out there who really love investing on CHESS, and that's absolutely fine. That's there's nothing wrong with that. And it's all about security. But we've just made sure that in building this custodian model, that your assets are safe.
Who's your custodian?
So we have an independent custodian who's Citibank.
Might have heard of them.
Might have heard of them, exactly right. And it's important to remember that most of the industry is built on custody. Superannuation funds, and a lot of the to the best of breed global companies and global platforms are built on custody too. So this isn't anything that's new by any means.
And I was saying every time that this topic comes up, I'll always have my spray, and it will piss the CHESS zealots off, and people like the entertainment. But if you're hanging your hat on CHESS, you better not own an ETF. You better have a self-managed super fund with direct shares. If you want to be that, and you better not own international equities.
Well, that's right. I mean, ETFs would be on custody, and US shares that's exactly right.
So, okay, that's cool. A couple of other questions before we get into the juicy stuff. Do you use it yourself personally?
Betashares Direct?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, I'm a product builder, so I have an account with every single investment platform in Australia.
Yeah.
But Betashares Direct is the primary place I build wealth.
Yeah, great. And a lot of your team would use it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If I wanted to in specie in, can I do that from another broker that might be on custody or on CHESS?
You can. Yep.
Is there a fee for that?
There's no fee. So to transfer ETFs and shares into Betashares Direct, there's no fee. It's a paperless digital experience. You can even edit your sort of cost history and parcels post-transferring. And what that means is
you can reset your cost base if you had direct equities on a HIN.
Yeah, so if you bought, say, NDQ ETF on another broker, and that has a cost price and a date associated with that, you can bring that information into Betashares Direct.
Yeah, okay.
To ensure that when you get tax reporting on Direct, and we do CGT reporting as well as income.
Do you do unrealized gains on Betashares Direct?
We're adding that information into our reporting,
yeah.
But we don't currently show that in our tax report.
Date when that could be there?
I'll say this year, but it'd be sooner than you think.
This financial year? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This calendar year.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
So before that, by the time you do your next tax return with Direct, that information will be there.
Yeah, awesome.
There's this really interesting and useful tool on Direct, which is performance reporting.
Yeah.
And so we give you, your total return analytics on your portfolio.
Yeah.
So when you're transferring your assets from another broker into Direct, we want to make sure you have all the accuracy that comes with that. So, all your cost pricing and your dates so that you get updated performance from not just investments you've made on Direct, but past investments you've made with other platforms.
Yeah, the investment reporting, because I primarily came from a financial advice background and would feed investments and platforms into Xplan, and you could do really cool portfolio reports. My biggest gripe with different apps and brokerages account, and maybe it can be one of the questions for you guys, I want to run an investment report and exclude my cash just to see what the actual portfolio did. Because I know because I'm currently using Superhero, it's got the line, and it's if I added 40 grand in or 2 grand or whatever. The portfolio balance goes up and it's all this, but it includes like big cash movements.
Yes.
It's like, I don't care about the big cash movements.
Yes.
Piss that off from the reporting. Just show me what the actual assets did.
Yeah. We do that on Direct. We don't include cash. So,
awesome. You might have a new customer by the end of this.
Yeah, we'll see.
You might not. Do you want to buy? Here you go.
I was going to say, with cash, it's important to include it holistically because it is an asset.
You need
class
the option,
and you definitely want to get a return on cash. But yeah, the performance. What we wanted to do with Direct is, you mentioned Xplan and reporting and other platforms. We just wanted to bring that all into one place. So you get the utility of investing, you get the automation, but the reporting's all there too.
But and I guess I might be a freak and carve out of the thing, and that's the dance, like, because you've got all the data there, and if you let the engineers run wild, the UI is dog's balls, where if you go simplex and easy, well, no, I want to unselect that thing from the report and really customize it. So it is a dance, isn't it?
It is a dance, but you want to offer, one, you want to have a really easy-to-use experience, but two, just give the control back to the customer. So I feel like I keep promoting the product here, but you can actually, choose what holdings you want to see in that report as well.
Yeah, cool. And my next question, I was just going to ask before, Betashares, do they want to buy another podcast? Don't answer that.
Above my pay grade.
Don't answer that. All right. Okay, so my questions, and I've split these up, portfolio rebalancing and contributions. Can I manually deposit money into my Betashares wallet? So, for example, I've been paid overtime, so I just want to drop $500 in there. And then I've got a custom portfolio that's set to quarterly rebalance. Can I set it so at the quarterly rebalance, it will not only rebalance the ETF, but suck up any cash and allocate that?
Yeah, this is a really good question. So I'll take a step back and explain the wallet and explain rebalancing.
Yes.
So the wallet on Betashares Direct is a bank account where you transfer funds from your external bank account into that wallet, and that's used to pre-fund investments into ETFs, shares, managed portfolios, and custom portfolios.
Yeah.
So when you send money to that wallet, at any time you can invest in your custom portfolio.
Yeah.
Now, with rebalancing, there's two ways we rebalance custom portfolios and managed portfolios. The first is what we call a hard rebalance, which is at the end of the quarter, we rebalance your portfolio so that it is aligned to your target allocation.
Yeah.
And that's done via existing holdings in your portfolio.
And just on that, is it the last business day of the month? How does that work? Or how does that work in terms of time?
I actually would have to defer my answer and send that back to you.
Yep.
But we do rebalance at an optimal time where there's good liquidity in the market.
Wednesday lunchtime or something like that.
It's done in the most responsible way through our portfolio.
And I hope some of these questions, I'm not here to do gotcha journalism.
Yeah,
it's just I'll have really detailed, annoying questions. So that's
all
good.
No, this is good. We're here to get to the bottom of things. So it's great. So that's the first way we rebalance, and that's just a typical sort of way to rebalance a portfolio on any platform. Now, the second way we rebalance is what we call a soft rebalance.
Yep.
Now, what happens here is when you invest in your portfolio, we're actually rebalancing as you invest. Mm-hmm. So when you make an investment into your custom portfolio, whether it's one-off or recurring, we would buy the underrepresented securities in that portfolio, which means over time we're constantly
the cost base is better off,
and we're rebalancing towards your target allocation, which reduces the need for that hard rebalance at the end of the quarter.
Yeah,
and so this is one of the sort of automations and the sort of automated discipline we bring to this experience, where you can regularly invest in that portfolio, which is a really great habit to build wealth.
Yeah.
But also we're actually rebalancing your portfolio to its target allocation every time you invest.
So, okay, I think my first two questions have kind of been answered there. With the auto invest, from what I understood, the regular investments must always be pulled from a linked bank account with the auto invest. So you suck it from someone's bank account.
Okay, so auto invest is an automated feature to regularly invest in Betashares ETFs. Now that is for the what we call the more direct investing experience.
Right. So are you saying you can't auto invest into my custom portfolio?
So you can.
Yep.
But that is done via a direct debit pool from
Yes.
your external bank
Yes.
account. That's right.
Yep.
So if you wanted to regularly invest into your portfolio, we call it a savings plan.
Yep.
You set up a savings plan and you can invest, let's just say $1,000 per month, and you link your external bank account, and we automatically direct debit from your bank account, and it's invested automatically into your portfolio.
Okay, cool.
Now, I actually really love your question because one of the things we're discussing is, well, can you actually automate investments from your wallet into your portfolios as well?
Yeah, and that was the broader thing, because the way I would think is it's good that you can pull money from external bank accounts, but it's kind of like that first question. What if I just want to push money into my wallet every month, every week, whatever, and then out of the wallet, once a week, it will automatically invest into my custom portfolio to the target, or if it's underweight, it will automatically do a soft one each week.
So there's actually another way to deposit in your portfolio, which is a little bit new.
Yep.
And so I'll explain this. So every time you create a portfolio, whether it's managed or custom, we actually create a unique BSB and account number
For that
portfolio.
Yeah.
So the idea there, and you could even demo it if you want.
We'll demo it. So let's everyone watching on YouTube, we'll share the screen. You won't see the password, anyone, so that's good.
So you've created a custom portfolio.
Yeah, so when I did the review, I did a custom portfolio, which was from our investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, with 3 shares. And then I purchased 3 holdings direct. So CBA, Gold, and JB Hi-Fi.
And Nick's fund is doing very well.
It is. Yeah. Compared to... Actually, can we get an aggregated... So that says the total return of the portfolio is 2.6. Mm-hmm. There is nothing on this front screen.
So if you scroll up, there should be a total return next to your balance. There it is, 0.78%.
Oh, but that's the total, including the direct equities.
Yeah, if you go to performance, the performance tab.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you can, if you and scroll up, there's that says all investments on the right.
Yep.
You can take out Nick's fund.
Yeah, and just do holdings.
And there you can get the return.
The return, last 3 months, 2%, -2. Yep. Cool. So back to the...
I'll show you how you can actually deposit another way into Nick's fund here.
Yeah.
So if you drill into the custom portfolio, the way to go is go back to home.
Yeah.
Click the portfolio. View more. Yep. Okay, so if you go to manage.
Where is? Manage. Yep.
Scroll down. Oh, my apologies. Go back to deposit.
Back to portfolio.
Top up. There we go.
Yeah, top up.
Yep. And then, so these are the 2 ways you can top up into this portfolio. Like we mentioned, the wallet, which is top one, and the second one, manual bank transfer.
Yeah.
If you click on that BSB and account number is unique to your portfolio.
Right.
Now, we have a lot of customers who love controlling cash flow from their bank account. And so you can set up a new pay ID in your bank account and to this BSB and account number and just send from your bank account directly into this portfolio.
Awesome.
And basically, investing becomes as easy as banking.
Yeah, and this is why I really wanted to get you in, because when I was dicking around, I didn't sit around and look at all the buttons, because if someone had, because I'm just a big believer, I would rather from my own spending and cash flow to control and push the money where I want it to go, whether I'm pushing it to my phone bill when it's due, whether it's pushing it to an investing account.
Yes.
So basically what you're saying is I can set up, okay, I've got a spare $500 a month. Once a month, I can do a bank transfer to this dedicated account, BSB, of the $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
It will then, as soon as it lands, there's obviously, it bypasses the wallet, so it's going to sit somewhere behind the scenes. So the next trading day, you'll allocate that $500. Now, will you allocate it to the target percentages, or each month, if it is slightly out of weight, do the soft and go, the IVV's had a Liberation Day tank. It's down $500. We're just going to put that whole $500 into IVV to pop it back up. How does that work?
You explained it really well.
Okay.
So that's exactly right. Let's just say you've been paid and you've sent that $500 to this BSB account number. We receive this cash in, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Later that day, it will be invested into your portfolio. So it's very efficient.
Yeah.
And exactly right. If one of the ETFs has drifted and it's underweight, we would buy in that investment that underweighted security so that you soft rebalance back to your target allocation.
So if I put $500 in the portfolio and it was only a $1,000 portfolio or something small, one of the ETFs was down $300, the others were up higher, it might put $400 into that one that's lower and spread the remaining $100 across the other two.
That's right. It's automatically gets you back to your allocation.
Yeah. So ideally, this could be cool because then it could be like, well, I've got my bread and butter, $500 a month that I pay directly into my custom portfolio. If I get any bonus or overtime, I can put that onto my wallet and then go, well, now I'm going to buy some direct Macquarie Bank or CBA and do it that way.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. Let me just see. When I deposit funds into a custom and takes up to 2 business days, are the trades backdated to the date of instruction, or are they executed the day that you have the money online? Because one thing I did notice in the video was the direct ETF and share purchases, they seem to execute immediately, where the custom portfolio didn't execute immediately.
Yes. So when you execute ETFs and shares from your wallet, you're putting an order on market directly.
Yeah.
And so it is instant. Whether unless it's a limit order, and it takes 1 day or 7 days whenever it hits the target price. With portfolios, there's a standing instruction that's set up, which means when we receive the cash to invest, it's invested directly on the market, but it's done later in the day.
Right.
And so it's more of a sort of process. If it's automated in that sense, whereas when you invest in ETFs and shares through market orders, limit orders, that's you manually investing, and that's investing at the time of execution. So the price you get in your portfolio, being the underlying ETFs or shares in that portfolio, your cost price or your purchase price is the time of execution, which is when that standing instruction is made later in the day.
Yeah. So I'm just actually having a look. If I go to where could I find activity? So basically, when I was dicking around, it was the 17th of June, and I purchased. I put $300 into the custom portfolio. I then put $50 in Macquarie, $50 in JB, $100 in gold. I then sold Macquarie and bought CBA. I think at the time when I set up this custom portfolio, it didn't appear, or there was some type of lag. And I think it's now answered the question that it has actually dated it on that same day.
I know what you're saying because I did watch that.
Like it wasn't in the reporting or something where it didn't flow through to the reports that day where the direct ETFs and equities did flow through to the report instantly.
Yes, that's right. So you would have seen, if you click on that activity feed item, you'll see the amount you invested per security.
Oh, okay, completed. So that was the next day.
Yeah, so it just depends on when you actually...
Well, the market was live because see that there, order placed the 17th at 3 p.m. and it was filled that same day, where the portfolio, I set up the portfolio at the same time, but it actually traded it on the 18th.
And that would be because when we perform that standing instruction for your portfolio, it would have been before 3:30. Which is the time at which you invested in this portfolio.
Right. So are you saying, so based on this, the market was still open and I've bought Macquarie at 3:38 p.m. Are you saying there's like a 3:30 p.m. internal cutoff?
Yes, that would have been the process.
So maybe I had set up, even though the market was open, maybe I set up the custom portfolio after 3:30, even though the market was open, It didn't trade and place the trades until the next day.
That's right. Yeah.
So, okay. So if you're setting up custom portfolios, kids, do them before 3:30 p.m.
So we the standing instruction happens twice a day.
Right.
And I imagine, we actually do execute at the end of day at times. It just depends on if it's the right conditions. On this particular day, we would have executed before 3:30.
Yeah, and this is like 1% nerdy crap that's irrelevant to most people, but I'm just curious for whatever reason. Let's move to platform fees and costs. And I'm just conscious of time. Got a lot of questions here. If there is no available cash in the wallet, will the monthly platform fees be automatically deducted pro rata from existing investments? Or can I, if the answer is yes, can I say, well, I've only got a custom portfolio and I don't want to keep any cash in the wallet. Can I elect one ETF to be the ETF that draws the fees, like a AAA or something like that?
I really love this question, Glenn, because we are getting into the nerdy stuff, which is great. And so right now, the way we charge fees, it's from your existing investments, which means the fee isn't drawn from your wallet, to answer your question.
Would it be drawn from the wallet if I had cash in the wallet?
Not at the moment. This is why, in terms of like why I love the question, is one of the ways we're actually solving this is bringing in logic where it would take fees from the wallet.
Yeah.
So this is something we're working on to like customize the experience a bit better. But at the moment, it's paid from your existing holdings.
Which, that's kind of crap, but I get that you're building something from scratch and, $1.74 here that you can see. And this episode, it's not about, fees. You can watch the other one because I don't think it's inherently bad to pay for a service. Like, give me a break, everyone. Like, you get what you pay for. And I'm a big believer that this product is pretty good, if I'm being honest. But, so Nick's custom portfolio, a monthly fee was $1.74, and you've sold down. So I'd imagine that would be a pro rata sale, 1.28 from IVV, 0.17 cents from IAF, and then A200 0.28. Yeah,
that's right. Now, I would say this, getting into the weeds and all this, it's just the nature of this conversation.
Yeah.
But if you did have cash in your portfolio at the time the fee was charged, it would actually take from the cash balance.
But how can I set a cash balance in my portfolio?
it's nothing you can actually manually set at the moment. So, and it goes back to why I love the question. If we wanted to keep listening to customer feedback, such as yours, maybe there's a world where we can add the ability to add a cash holding, which can actually be used to draw down fees. So, this is something I can take back to the product team. And
so just on this, so this, I'm here I've clicked wallet at the top of the screen. There's $1.96. So I set the portfolios up. What were these transfers? So this is the trail of the system's automatically sold down and pay the fee through the cash wallet anyway. Because if that's the 157 portfolio fee, it's automatically transferred from Nick's portfolio, $1.57. It's showing up in the activity in the wallet. So it's obviously going through the wallet.
Yeah, I think this transaction relates to
there we go.
Monthly fee. Yeah,
173.
If you go back to your wallet.
Actually, to be honest,
those
maybe once
those numbers there, sorry, Glenn, actually relate to income you've received.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're income. What I think it is, in the afternoon when I set up Nick's portfolio, I put, the $300 in the portfolio. It's locked and loaded, didn't trade that day. When it's traded the next day, there's obviously a unit price mismatch, and that's where the difference is in the portfolio, I'd imagine.
The unit price of the portfolio?
Yeah, of the ETFs.
Of the ETFs.
Because it's traded the next day. Glenn wanted $300 in these 3 ETFs. He lodged it at $300 that day, and that was my question. I couldn't see it traded that day. The next day, it's then placed the trade.
Invested, yep.
And there's probably some rounding, and that spat the money back out or hasn't taken the whole $300.
No. We would have invested that whole $300.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and but these numbers you're seeing here, this is...
So they're distributions.
They're distributions.
14. Okay, so that must be... So the 14th of July and the 16th, they would have been... It doesn't tell us. It just says transfer from. So how do we see the distributions from the actual portfolio?
If you go back to your Nick's portfolio...
Yeah.
There is a activity feed.
So if I go view more, okay, so there?
No, scroll down. There should be, activity.
Oh, yes, there we go.
Yep.
So it doesn't.
Okay, so it's the activities in the wallet.
Yeah.
Which is the cash you've received from income in that portfolio.
But it doesn't tell me here.
Which ETF it comes from. Yeah, it's grouped.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll take that back to your team.
I will. I believe that detail, though, is in the mobile app. But we'll make sure it's reflected in web.
Let's have a look in the mobile app, shall we? Actually, we'll be back right after this break and we'll open the mobile app.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. But if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Rightio, we are back, and I'm just going to screen share the mobile app. So now if I go to wallet, top left, Oh no, dividend. Just must have been a timing thing. So if I click that 20 cent.
That's the total. Yeah. So
Total.
this is the income you've received from your portfolio.
Yeah. So that's in the wallet. So if I go now to the portfolio, and then press that, view activity, 173. No, that's the sell.
That's your fee. Yeah. So I'll explain what's happening here.
Yeah.
When you set up this custom portfolio, there was a decision to either receive income as cash
Yep.
or to reinvest your income back into your portfolio.
Yep.
And you would have elected to receive as cash. And so if you received that income in your wallet, and it's come in as a total number. But if you chose to reinvest that income, it would show the amount you've received and then in what underlying ETFs you've reinvested into.
Oh, if it was an automatic reinvestment.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's why there's two different dates. The BlackRock stuff has happened on one date, and then the next date it's been the Betashares
Correct.
income.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my next question on that, if there's a segue, so my custom portfolio, I can't, if I reinvest and the money obviously gets paid out, then physically reinvested, would it get, if there was $300 across 3 ETFs and the $300 was different amounts, when it reinvested, does it see it as new money and then pro rata it and do that smart soft rebalance?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's treated similar to a
If
deposit.
I deposited into that account BSB, that was the custom portfolio direct.
So it does that soft rebalance in the
cool,
reinvestment
cool.
process.
Yeah, that's cool. What else have we got here? Yeah, so can I intentionally include an ETF like AAA in a portfolio to save as a buffer for platform fees? So no, at the moment, it's just prorated on the investments. If I didn't have a custom portfolio, there's obviously no fees, is there? If I just had 3 holdings.
If you had 3 holdings in like the more direct experience,
Yeah.
No, there's no management fees. Yeah.
Yeah. And just on that, so the wallet, that's not an interest-bearing bank account.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we it's a very similar setup to a lot of Australian brokers.
Yep. Can I set the portfolio to invest new contributions entirely into the one ETF and let quarterly rebalancing correct the weighting later? I mean, the answer is probably no, and the answer is you're an idiot, Glen. Why would you want to do that? But, for example, could you say, I want all new money added to the portfolio to go to AAA or the cash wallet, and then every 3 months I just want it to be rebalanced at the time, not as a weekly or monthly payment.
Well, I mean, this is why I love having these chats because while you can't do that at the moment because we do soft rebalancing, hard rebalancing, this is just another data point that we love hearing from our customers. And so, in terms of us building the product and improving it, this is a really good, consideration that we might. So if this is something you really want, Glen, maybe we could do this pod in another 12 months. And show you what we've introduced.
Yeah,
to
I'm
the product.
totally down for it. Okay, let's have a look. I think so for example, one of my pet peeves and it's not only this portfolio, and I'll just share the laptop again. And everyone, I know these questions they might be erring on the side of whinging, but I don't think it's that. I want to be clear. It's just me understanding how it works more than because I said to Matt jokingly, I'm like, yeah, any product can come and talk on my podcast, but I think it's rubbish. They would not get on the on the show. So
we take that as a strong compliment.
It's a backhanded slap compliment. What I wanted to know was when you go to, I'll share the screen again. When I go to performance, or it was around the asset allocation. So the question is, why are direct shares like CBA and JB Hi-Fi shown under quote-unquote others in the asset allocation screen instead of Australian equities? So how do I get to the asset allocation screen?
If you scroll down to current investments, go back to performance. So this page here provides you with, reporting on your portfolio.
Yeah.
And if you got your cash balance, your portfolios, and your current investments in direct holdings.
Yeah.
And you get total return split into capital gain and income gain, which is really useful information. But if you scroll up, you'll be able to actually get more of like a balance sheet view.
Yep.
So on the left there's a drop down for portfolio performance. Change that to portfolio allocations. And this is where you get a breakdown of your portfolio by asset class.
Yes.
Now you can see there at the bottom, as you've rightly put out, there's an others category.
Because I'm pretty confident CBA and JB Hi-Fi are Australian equities.
I would be as
going out
as
on a limb.
Yeah, going out on a limb there. Yeah. So it's a great call out, and we'll just update it to be Australian equities. Yeah.
Fix your shat, basically.
So this is just a data hygiene point.
But that's the thing. So see this Australian equities broad, that's obviously fed through from the ETF in the custom portfolio, but it hasn't picked up the direct holdings and flagged them. So in theory, the Australian equities broad needs to be 40, 50, almost 60%.
62, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. International equities US, because we don't have any other type holdings there. But Nick Bradley would be pleased to know that his portfolio from the investing book has outperformed the 3 direct
of course.
stocks.
Keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, my next question. Are you guys thinking about dicking around with direct US equities? Because I noticed there's a section in there for the W8 Ben form, or is that just there for likes of VTS?
That's right. I mean, so we have dual listed ETFs on the platform. So if you invest in VTS, you'll need to sign a W8 Ben form.
Yeah.
To answer your questions on US listed shares, so for us, it's all about helping Australians build long-term wealth, and US equities, play a big part in people's portfolio construction. So we have like a long list of investment options and features that we want to put into Betashares Direct, and US listed shares, ETFs is something that is on that list, and we're considering. We get demand from customers.
Yeah, it just sounds like another big headache.
I don't want to give anything away by any means, but it's something that we've definitely looked at.
We've talked about tax reporting, and it will include unrealised capital gains soon. This is probably one you can't answer. It was just more of a comment. Why is currency hedging included in the model portfolios offered through Betashares Direct, but not in a standalone diversified portfolio like DHHF?
I'll definitely have a crack.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Can't break anything.
So the managed portfolios you mentioned in this question,
yes,
do include a mix of hedged and unhedged exposures to global equities. And so when we constructed these portfolios, they're really built for different time horizons based on your appetite to risk. And so those time horizons might be 3 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years. And so in constructing these portfolios, these hedged ETFs provide a bit more sort of certainty into the outcomes on those time horizons. But for an ETF like DHHF, it's really built for ultra long-term investing.
Dogging.
And so,
my words, not yours.
In terms of ultra long-term views, generally speaking, hedging doesn't play a massive part with the outcomes. So your
it's a
financial goals.
smoother ride.
Yeah. So that's why we have.
At the end of the day, the answer is portfolio decision.
yeah, it's a portfolio designed for a different purpose.
Okay, is there a fee cap or any stated limit on how platform fees could increase over time? Like, if I drop $10 million on there, will you cap it at $1,000 a year or something like that?
So the portfolio fees tier down
Yep.
as your portfolio balance increases.
Yep.
But we don't have any cap fees.
Yeah, cool.
But the fees, like you said at the start of the podcast, like fees are,
Shivers.
for us, it's all about a value for money product.
Yeah.
So yeah, those fees, those fees tier down as your portfolio balance increases, and we still think are value for money.
And that's it. Like, everyone needs to have a flippin' cold shower and stop expecting everything for free, because nothing is free. And if you want, and that's what I really like this portfolio, the way that you can set up a custom portfolio, because it just removes you from the process. I want my listeners to focusing on shoveling money into their bank account from work, and by spending less than what they earn, and once a month shoot money over to the custom portfolio on Betashares and know that it will be invested automatically as per the weighting, or if there's something that month underweight or overweight, it will adjust. And then if you don't do anything for 3 months, it will get rebalanced. Shut up. Take my money.
Yeah,
I'm paying for that service. What's the problem?
Your words, but I would say that's exactly right in the sense that it's so hard to keep up a discipline. It really is. Like,
You won't.
We're all busy and we get in our own way in actually getting the best outcome with your investing.
Because can you keep up the discipline to sell a winner or put more money into something that hasn't gone as well?
Yeah, and the automation that comes with these portfolios just helps you rebalance back to your intended investing plan.
Yeah.
And that results in better long-term performance.
And if you don't want to do your own custom portfolio and you like the cut of the jib of their managed portfolios, knock yourself out, use one of them.
Yep.
If you don't want to do that, you want to just buy a one-stop shop, DHHF, VDAL, insert your thing here, knock yourself out.
Yeah, the choice is there.
Are there any features on either the app or the desktop that are different?
Yeah. Okay. So as you would know, the real estate on a mobile phone, it's a bit harder to get the exact experience on web and mobile. I will say, for the most part, the functionality is mostly at parity between the two. But what is on the web platform or desktop that's on a mobile is this screening tool that we have. So if you go to Invest, drop down and go Screener.
Yes.
This is a tool where you can discover ETFs and shares by screening for things like financials, fees, fundamentals, market cap, or just search the
AI
security.
So what's an example? So that's a filter by fund name or ticker.
Yeah. So if you go to that plus button just above, you can fund by category. So if you're looking for healthcare or technology.
I'll go technology, thematic, short funds and geared funds. Let's get a bit naughty. What's that 1 year return to the end of the month before or the end of the quarter before, or a rolling 1 year return?
It'd be a rolling 1 year return.
Okay.
Yep. And you can then filter it for things like fees and fund size and performance even. And once you lock down your sort of list of securities in your screener, you can save that screener and it becomes sort of like a pseudo watch list of sorts.
Yeah, okay.
Or you can create a custom portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, 5 year return. Because I don't give a crap about last year return. Don't care.
It's better to take the long-term view.
Yeah. But also, who cares about 5 years if I'm investing for 30? But I get, it's important. Okay, so let's clear these.
Yeah, so this is a feature that isn't on mobile.
Actually, sorry, you finish, then I've got a question.
But everything else is at parity. Yep.
What if I want to buy? So you mentioned that you can buy the top 350 ASX shares. So if I want to buy a penny stock, this ain't my shop because it's a liquidity thing with the custodian buying vibe. What's the go?
Well, so if you really wanted a particular share introduced on Betashares Direct, you can actually request that.
Okay. Matt's mobile number is 04.
You could call our operations team. But if you really want to share on a platform, you can request it. And then every week we actually look at requests and then make a decision if we put that on platform. So,
But the decision's got to be liquidity decision.
exactly right. This liquidity, generally penny stocks won't be introduced. For us, it's all about building, helping people build long-term wealth, right?
Yeah.
And making good decisions.
If I had some penny stocks, it would be the same thing if you would let me in specie them in. It would have to be reviewed.
The same process would be reviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's kind of all the questions I had. Yeah. Did you have any final comments before I tell you to take your gear? I've got nothing for you. Get back to camp, Jeff Survivor style.
Get back on the plane.
Yeah.
Back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Look, I'll just say, Betashares Direct is truly about helping Australians financially progress, but also for Betashares to, get close to the customer and help them build wealth.
Yeah.
So if anyone, part of your audience has feedback for us to make the product better or wants to see things that aren't in the product, please share that. For us, it's just making a better product, keeping to invest in technology and just helping people build wealth. So I really enjoyed this conversation. I'd love to have another one at some point in the future. We'll show you how we've updated the product.
Any crack dealer, the first hit's free, so you can come back anytime.
Well, call me addicted. Yeah.
That's right. Look, as I said, I think you've done a great job. Genuinely, I have not seen myself a portfolio platform service like this in the market as a B2C. And another question, have you thought about tapping into the advice network? So if people want to go to a financial advisor for recommendations, there could either be an advisor login in the background, even a view only or something like that. So a lot of advisors, will make recommendations and not provide an ongoing service for that. And at least if they recommended Betashares Direct, it's a good experience and we recommend this portfolio or these equities for these reasons. There you go, implement it. We recommend you select quarterly rebalancing on that portfolio. Then the need for ongoing advice potentially might not be there because it's basically all done automatically. Have you thought about tapping into that part of the market for distribution?
So Betashares Direct is primarily built for self-directed investors. We do have a feature called Advisor Link, which means if you're a self-directed investor and you use Betashares Direct, but you have an advisor relationship, an advisor can get read-only access so they as part of that relationship. But it's definitely built for self-directed investors.
Yeah. And that's not to say advisors could recommend it. They just have to go through their platform, an approved platform. But I'm going to tell my advisor friends about it, particularly if they're making recommendations and they know that the client doesn't want ongoing advice. But then it's just that whole dance, right? Because, if you want to invest, you don't need a financial advisor. You could open an account, use DHHF, VDAL, or now your managed portfolios. It would be more if someone was getting broader advice and some strategy work. So it's we recommend self-managed, or we recommend salary sacrifice for here and any surplus get invested in your own name, or we're going to do a debt recycling strategy. So it would be just used more as a broader conversation. But if you want to invest, you don't need a financial advisor.
Investing is one piece of the puzzle.
That's right, yeah. And I just had another question that maybe it's fleeting now. No, it's gone. It's gone. But look, It is what it is. Great work. Thank you very much for coming up and letting me, potentially fire up the pan and put the grill on a bit. But I just curious to see how it worked, and I've learned a couple of things, particularly with that. There's kind of two sections of the app when it comes to that. Pushing money to my portfolio. I think that's a really cool thing. So
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, Glenn. Thank you.
No worries. Well, you can reach out to Betashares wherever you get your Googling from and all that. You can search Betashares Direct, and please, even if you've listened to this, go back in the link, watch the YouTube where I go through, and you can just see how easy it is. And you might be surprised. So thank you so much, Matt Fish, Head of Product at Betashares Direct. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds financial services license 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.